I want to bring down the chandelier. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun,
That's the
dun.
medley that I need. Welcome to the Thank You Places podcast, celebrating the art of theater and the amazing people who make it happen.
Join us as we sit down to talk about our experiences, the shows we see, and what's happening on the local theater scene right here in Springfield, Missouri.
As the 2022-2023 theater season ends, so does the first season of our podcast, and there's plenty to celebrate.
We're breaking down the next season of theater in Springfield, sprinkled with memories from a few past episodes and teasers of what's to come.
Thank you for tuning in, and enjoy the show. Places!
Thank you, Places!
Welcome to the Thank You Places podcast and to our season 1 finale. Woo! We made it through a whole season, guys.
Yeah, we did.
Thank you, everyone that has been tuning in and listening to this on all of the platforms and YouTube and everything, and everybody that's been so excited about this coming out. It's been really, really touching to hear all of y'all's support and stuff.
Yeah.
So we are going to wrap. This was kind of a nice little pilot season. We're going to wrap things up. We're going to take a short break from the podcast, and then we're going to come back at the end of the summer.
Come back swinging.
Come back swinging, man. We were meeting before this, and we've got plans.
Yeah, we do.
We've got plans. So it's going to be a great set. A lot of new things, a lot of life changes happening, which we'll be telling you about towards the end there. But a quick announcement also before we get started. If you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, we are, number one, we're going to start putting some content out on that. Not like immediate, but towards the latter half of the summer, we're going to start getting some stuff ready to put out on there and get that channel active. We do have a video out there called Backstage at Urinetown. So our last 2 episodes, we've been talking about everything going on with Urinetown the musical. So Allison came back opening weekend and shot some videos and stuff. Yeah. We did a little get ready with me, did some stuff with the cast.
It's a lot of fun. The cast was so into it, and it was so fun.
If in Urinetown cast, if you're listening to this, thanks for being a part of that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and fun. The video turned out really well. So you can go check that out on our YouTube channel. Thank you, Places. And
I think it's Thank You Places Troop.
Is it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I honestly don't
on
remember,
YouTube.
but I think it's Troop.
I forget. Some of the handles are different because somebody already took the Thank You Places name on certain platforms, but not others. The nerve of them.
But not others.
But not others. Yeah. So, again, it's been a fantastic little first pilot season. I thought I'd share this fun little trivia bit. With you've probably already looked at the notes.
I just looked at it.
You've already looked at. Okay, I was gonna say, what's been our best episode so far, guys? You've already looked at the notes. It's fine. Besides our pilot episode, was our Children of Eden episode with Ben Parrales has been the highest listened to. So thank you, Evangel peeps, for tuning into that.
The YouTube analytics for like how people come up onto your video, or like what they search to find your video. For a while, the second top hit for that was Ben Thank You Podcast or something.
Ben 3.
Ben 3.
Ben 3.
That's what it was.
Because it was Ben Parrales, it was the 3rd episode.
And so people just searched Ben 3.
Ben 3. I don't
know.
I don't understand.
I don't
how it
know
works.
who did that. If you did, please let us know in the comments, because that is. I might make that the question for this episode of who searched Ben 3.
The more I think about it, because somebody had to type that into
that's a direct quote. That's such an odd,
I don't understand how it works.
No judgment, but that's just an interesting search criteria. So let us know if that was you. We will give you our undying respect.
I'll buy you a candy bar if you come forward and admit to it.
All right, you heard it here first. Allison's buying candy for whoever searched Ben 3. So yeah, okay. A lot of fun stuff coming up. We will talk about that at the end of this episode, but we're gonna jump right in. So we are at the kind of end of the theater season calendar. Several Springfield Contemporary Theaters got one show left in July. Little Theater just wrapped up with Beauty and the Beast. So we are kind of in between, getting ready to look at the next seasons of theater here in Springfield. So we are going to break down the ones that have been released and talk about what's coming up and what we're excited to see and all. So we're gonna go through Little Theater and Contemporary Theater, and kind of talk about what we're looking forward to and all. And then there's a couple other places that have some shows. Not all the universities have released their seasons yet, but the ones that we have, we're going to talk about. So we're going to start with Springfield Little Theater, and I'm just going to rattle off these coming titles, and then we'll go back through and talk about them. This is their 89th season, so I'm already looking forward to next year, a big 90s celebration. Yeah. So, all right, so September 8th through 24th, they are opening with Fiddler on the Roof. October, going to be doing Finding Nemo Jr. With their education department. Then their holiday offering is Elf the Musical, which was Allie's first theater adventure.
That was my first show.
Aww.
Yeah.
Turning to 2024 with In the Heights. Then in March, back by popular demand, they are doing The Play That Goes Wrong. If you remember, we talked with Jody Ann about that a couple of episodes ago, or early on in the season.
That was our second episode.
That was our second episode, yeah. So it was immensely popular, and they're bringing that back. Then in April, Mary Poppins Jr., and they will be closing their season out in June 2024 with Guys and Dolls.
Guys and Dolls.
So some fun stuff in there. Yeah. So a couple of noteworthy things. In the Heights, January 26th through February 11th, their first show in 2024, is a special partnership with Little Theater and Mosaic Arts Alliance, which Noel has worked with previously here with The Color Purple. We referenced a couple of times.
We have a poster on the wall about it.
We do have a poster on the wall. Right there it is, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Mosaic and what they do.
Mosaic is a artistic community here in Springfield, and it used to be under the name of Black Arts Alliance, and then it expanded to include other minorities and people who don't usually have a voice in the theater community. And the whole name comes from how we're all pieces of a mosaic. Like, it's all different little tile pieces. And I know that they have a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. Like, The Color Purple was one of their first... Well, I worked with them originally when they were Black Arts Alliance for Once on This Island. Were they still... Yeah, with Black Arts Alliance. They were still Black Arts Alliance for Once on This Island, and then they changed names and became Mosaic Arts for The Color Purple. And I know that they are just really chomping at the bit to have a lot of fun theater things. I know they are absolutely thrilled to be working with In the Heights and finding people, and they are so talented at pulling people out of the woodwork. Like, when they were casting The Color Purple, so many people came up to them and were like, how are you going to cast this show? Yeah. Because we know the demographics of the theater community in Springfield. How are you going to cast this show?
Demographics of the Ozarks.
And man, they pulled people out of the woodwork, and it was a beautiful show.
Fantastic.
It was fantastic. So I'm so excited to see how they do In the Heights. Yeah. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. And Lin-Manuel Miranda. I don't know if we've had a Lin-Manuel show here in Springfield yet.
I don't think so.
From a local theater. So
awesome.
That'll be fun. Awesome. They did, well, no, because we had Moana.
They just did Moana.
I also don't know if they've worked with Little Theater before, but they did Moana. They did Moana Junior just this past summer, and I don't know if that was like their initial work with Little Theater, if they've done
like a soft launch, kind of test in the waters. Yeah.
But that was a really popular, even for a junior show. It was a really popular production. So yeah. That's going to be a lot of fun, very dance heavy for sure. I'm sure Amanda Sneed will be choreographing.
Amanda's gonna have a great
guessing.
time
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
gonna
I'm just
be-
assuming. I don't know.
Probably,
But
I would assume. But that's going to be a bop for sure. She's the one that got your first costuming gig.
yeah, she did. Woo, what a time.
So, the other big thing on this season is Play That Goes Wrong, like I mentioned, is back by popular demand from just this past season, which I've never seen a community theater bring it back bring something back so quickly like that. I've heard mixed things in the past couple of days. I know you reached out to Jodie Ann.
I haven't heard back from her.
Oh, okay.
She's busy. She's a busy
in the
woman.
middle
got a
of a
show
show
right
now.
The understanding when they first announced it was, what I heard is that they were going to try to bring back pretty much the exact same cast if
Holy
they
cow.
could, and just fill in spots.
They
where
did. They did cast understudies for every role.
They did.
as
Yeah.
well. So, sorry. Continue with
Yeah.
what you were saying.
But I mean, you have to cast the understudies again as
Yeah.
well if they step in.
True.
I think I heard while we were getting ready for Urinetown last night, I think I heard some people say that they were moving away from that, and we're
Okay.
gonna just
Recast it.
recast
Cool.
it because so much time has passed. But I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna.
I think personally, I would rather them totally recast it, because if they're bringing it back so soon, it's going to be a constant comparison to the original production,
Yeah.
especially for the community of Springfield as a whole, who doesn't understand like the intricacies of theater.
Sure.
It's going to be the city being super excited
To
and
see
then
the
being
exact same thing.
shocked that it's not the
Yeah,
exact
that
same
it's-
thing.
Yep.
So I think
Yep.
going from the get-go and saying, this is a totally different cast, this is a totally different vibe, will be the best thing. But again, I don't know what they're going to do.
But-
So
I don't think they're definitely not. I don't know how much of that comes through in their marketing, because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just said
True.
back by popular demand
yeah.
when it came. So I don't know.
But then
if they're-
again, we're still several months away. So they,
yeah,
I mean, that's in March. So
almost a year. Yeah.
yeah.
I think my understanding would be that the intent would be to replicate it, because that's what was so popular, and so I would think that they're trying to bring back the same thing. But it sounds like they might just. I mean, it's community theater. You know, these people didn't sign a contract or
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
anything, so it's just kind of who can you get back. I wonder if they do go with a fresh audition, if they'll still give priority to the people that were in it beforehand.
If they re-audition.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Kept trying to think of like, what would I do if I was in that situation?
Yeah.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You're about to say something.
No, I'm just zoned
No.
out. Sorry.
It is almost 2:00 on a Saturday, so it's nap time.
It is nap
But
time.
here we are. One thing that sticks out to me on this as well is the 2 junior shows that are in the main stage lineup. Granted, I've only recently started paying attention to the local theaters
Yeah.
after getting out of college, and I had the time to actually. But that's not something that I remember seeing at least too prevalently in previous seasons. Last season for sure was all adult shows.
Yeah.
But they've got two juniors in here.
I think I feel like a few years ago, probably within the past 5 or 6 years or so, they did the Little Mermaid Junior.
I was going to bring
feel like
that
I
up
remember that.
because, well, Marshfield just did the Little Mermaid
Marshfield did
Junior.
that.
I think
yeah.
a lot of like smaller theaters will do the junior shows because they're just a little easier to pull off.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
I'm not saying that in like a negative way, but like they don't have to cast as big of a show
Yeah.
or like a big of a cast and things like that. But yeah, I don't know if that's regular to have 2 shows on the main stage.
Maybe part of it is because their education program shows are doing so well that they want to give these kids the opportunity to go ahead and be on the main stage.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Because
really
they're
cool.
doing fantastic.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
mean,
they're doing
And they have a
fantastic.
huge education department.
Yeah.
Like,
and
Yeah.
the Judy's stage, they have added to it, but it's still
Oh, it's
small. So
and it doesn't have a backstage.
yeah.
It,
So
it does have a backstage, but
It
you have
does.
to go through the house to get
It's
to
like
it, which
a
defeats the
labyrinth
purpose.
down there. It's a labyrinth down there. Yeah.
It's a maze in the bottom
Yeah,
of the
it's
Judy.
crazy.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah. I think the consensus from what I've heard from other people talking has been just, it's butts and seats, because you're going to get all the parents and the family members and such, and that education department is very big, very strong, and growing fast. So they like to feature.
It won't produce poor quality theater, though.
No, yeah, no.
That's the thing.
Oh
we might
gosh.
say it's to put butts in seats, but it's going to be great shows.
It's going to be fantastic. Yeah. Finding Nemo. I'm so excited for just these little kids to run around as fishies.
As fishies, yeah. I say we say junior, but like this is this is a nationally recognized education program that people come. In White Christmas, Chuck was telling us that someone had come in to go to like a jury or MSU, especially MSU is like a big theater program, and somebody was like, "No, don't go there. Do the little theater."
That's crazy.
program.
I mean, Lucas Grabeel came out of Springfield.
Yeah, Lucas Grabeel,
Yeah.
Ryan Evans came out. I don't know if he came out of the education program or just performing, but still came out of it. Like, it's a very high quality show, so it'll definitely do very well. Everyone is sad that Mary Poppins is not the adult version.
I am sad. I am sad.
Everybody wants to be in Mary Poppins,
but it's okay.
It'll come back around.
Yes, it will. They did it 2014. Kim Crosby played Mary Poppins, and I had no idea who she was, and I regret that every single day of my life. Oh well.
big name now.
It wasn't. Yeah. Oh, she was a big name then too. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Any other reactions to the season? We've kind of run a game.
I'm excited.
I'm really excited for Fiddler.
Yeah, I am too.
That was my first show I was in. Well, other than
What day is it?
whatever Tom Sawyer was, but that was my first musical I was
July
in.
1st.
I'm so excited.
I haven't decided if I'm going to audition yet. I have 10 days? 9 or 10 days to
Guess.
decide.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, that takes us to Springfield Contemporary Theater, which again you've been hearing plenty about as we've been talking about Urinetown. Both Little Theater and Contemporary Theater had great seasons last year. Contemporary, of course, had their really big deal with The Color Purple, and having that was a very, very big show for them. And then Sweeney and now Urinetown, they've had a very strong end to their season. They've got what I would call a much more intellectual season. That is not to mean offense to my SLT people. Like Little Theater does it's very big entertainment and enjoyment, and it's beautiful theater. Contemporary likes to make you question reality.
Contemporary
when you leave the building.
sounds a lot like Contemplate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how,
I feel like I'm going to walk out of every single one of these shows crying.
That's a connection. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have, again, same thing. I'm just going to rattle these off and then we'll talk about it. They're opening in September, same dates as Fiddler, with Big Fish, the musical. Then they are doing an oratorio in October, and Noel is gone. She has left the chat.
Noel has left the building.
I could have just cut to you guys on a different camera and gotten up quietly.
Nope.
I was turning the AC off so it wasn't so loud.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Well, we're on video. Everything's...
Not that camera doesn't see me.
I just had to give you a hard time. Consider that's going to be the cold open. I needed content for that, honestly. Hey,
that camera doesn't see me.
They're doing... It was just so sudden. Anyways, they're doing an oratorio in October in collaboration with Springfield Chamber Chorus called Considering Matthew Shepard, which is going to be a very, very emotional show. Then also in October, they're doing Fairview. Their holiday offering is the beloved Christmas classic Treasure Island. Then opening the new year with Rock of Ages, August Wilson's Fences in March, The Other Place, which I believe is going to be studio. That's going to be in their studio space, I believe.
Cool.
And then they are closing out the season in June with Parade. So this is a big season for Contemporary. This is their 28th season, and it is their first full season as the resident company of the Fox Theater downtown.
Yeah.
Which has we mentioned that also a little bit last episode. It was a theater. It was a movie theater, I believe. It
was like a vaudeville theater. Then it was a movie theater.
Which pretty much all the theaters here in Springfield were like a theater and then a movie theater
and then it was a
church.
It still looks kind of like a church.
It does.
It's the baby blue carpet everywhere.
And the white walls, yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's a theater again. So yeah, they opened it back up this past season with The Color Purple. That was, again, you were talking about Mosaic Arts and Color Purple. That was a very special opening in a lot of ways for a lot of reasons. You want to touch those?
Yeah. To my knowledge, to the best of my ability, now if someone goes and fact checks me on this, like, I'm sorry if I told you wrong. But the last time that the Fox was having actual performances on that stage, like live theater performances, we were segregated. And to have the cast of Color Purple on that stage performing such a strong emotional piece. I know, I have goosebumps right now. I know. It was awe-inspiring. Yeah. Like to see the cast before performances gather on stage, join hands and like chant and pray and talk about how their like family members who have passed away looking at them saying, wow, look at you and where you are standing right now. Like, I'm gonna cry. It was such a powerful experience just to like be part of that. I'm like, that's not my history at all, but it's so powerful to see it that it was so good. Oh, it was so good. I know.
From segregated to an all-black cast.
I know. Oh, it was fantastic.
Wow.
Show.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a movie musical of Color Purple coming out.
I know.
Later on.
So excited. Yeah.
The other another big thing I mentioned, considering Matthew Shepard with the Springfield Chamber Chorus. So I don't know a ton of the details on what's happening with that, but that's it's an oratorio from what I understand.
Now, what's an oratorio again?
Oh Lord.
Do you have a working definition, Allie?
Not of oratorio, no.
Oh, okay.
Well,
okay. I was the music major.
Yeah, you got it.
I wasn't going to help you. It's a type of opera is my loosest definition.
Okay.
Dr. Matrone, please don't hunt me down if
like
I got
an
this wrong.
Opera / ballad kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Is what
it
I'm
is
feeling.
a lot more it's more theatrical.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Performance based. I sang a couple pieces from oratorios in college and all. And
they go, you want to do theater? We're going to give you the most dramatic songs possible.
That's about how that went.
That's fair.
That's what it's about. Tell us about Considering Matthew Shepard, Allison.
It's going to be a heavy one. So Considering Matthew Shepard is based on a true tragedy that occurred in 1998 when a young gay college student was kidnapped, beaten, and left for dead, tied to a fence, and passed away. And so 20 years later, Craig Johnson wrote this as a tribute, this oratorio as a tribute. It combines a chamber choir and instrumentalists, as well as poetry and excerpts from Matthew Shepard's personal journal from the 90s. People have called it gripping, dazzling, innovative, and other words that have made it the one I am most excited for so far. It debuted in April of 2018 with the USC Visions and Voices, the Arts and Humanities Initiative. So it's fairly recent, which is cool.
Yeah. That's gonna be
it's gonna be powerful.
Sure. And then Fences. If I might be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure I remember hearing Rick say when they announced Fences that it is the regional premiere of any August Wilson work.
That's crazy.
So I'm going to throw it right back to you. Tell us about August Wilson.
Yeah.
It's great having a dramaturge on the team. I don't have to do any research for anything.
So I read Fences in college couldn't tell you what it was about. I remember it being very powerful, but I don't.
Property? Fences?
You read a lot of things in
I
college.
read a lot of things. They all meshed together. I don't remember. But August Wilson himself, I did do a little research on this guy. So, very cool man. Just a very short bio on him. He was born in Pittsburgh in 1945 to a family of 8. The man had 6 siblings. He was born into an economically depressed neighborhood. As you can imagine, a biracial family in the 40s. He was born into an economically depressed neighborhood, and he and his siblings were biracial, and he said that he never fit into African American or white culture until he was older. He just kind of felt, stuck between these two, at the time, very polarized cultures. His parents divorced, and his mom remarried into a wealthy neighborhood and family, which caused him to experience some extreme racial bias against his family. Apparently somebody threw a rock through their window at some point. That was just one example of the racism that his family, being biracial, faced at that time. He is best known, obviously, for a cycle of 10 plays set in 20th century Pittsburgh, including Fences and The Piano Lesson, which are probably the
I've heard
two
about
most...
Piano Lesson.
Yep, there you go.
Did that just have a revival on Broadway, or am I thinking of something else? I think I'm thinking of something else.
Probably. But it is a popular one, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways.
Fantastic.
Very cool. I cannot believe that nobody
so
around here has done
excited.
any August Wilson.
This is going to be a bomb season. I am
Very
so excited.
Very excited.
Yeah. A lot of fun
spectacle and
stuff,
then just
and
a lot of
social commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
But man, what is
good.
life without some social commentary?
Truly.
I mean, that is what theater is here for.
Yep.
Their season finale at Contemporary Parade. Rick is very excited about that. That's like one of his favorite things. But that was Springfield Contemporary's COVID show that they had to close down. So they're finally getting to bring that back and redo it. Yeah. And then I know, because I've heard Rick say this in the Urinetown curtain speech every night, it was the first Broadway show to reopen after the pandemic. So
yes, it was.
That's the fun facts I have. Did you look up anything on this one as well?
Did.
You did.
I did.
Ah, look at that.
And I'm a horrible theater major. I'd definitely heard of Parade, but had never listened to it or watched it or anything. But I'm going to now.
Yeah. It's on Broadway still, too.
It is right now, yeah. So Parade follows the trial, kidnapping, and lynching of Leo Frank, who was a Jewish...
So much death
I
in
know,
this season.
I know.
It's rough.
Like, just hate crime after hate crime after hate crime.
They weren't kidding when they said it was going to be
they weren't
tear-jerking
kidding.
season.
Anyways, Leo Frank was a Jewish factory manager in the early 1900s. He was accused of raping, I think, and killing a 13-year-old girl. But the trial and investigation surrounding the situation, where he was kidnapped from prison and lynched violently, obviously. This led to the revival of the KKK.
Oh.
But also led to the formation of the Jewish Civil Rights Organization. So that's pretty cool. Just wild stuff.
Man.
It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot. It was...
I'm also a terrible theater major because I'm hearing the plot of Parade for the first time right now.
I Googled it as soon as Rick announced it, that one rehearsal.
Yep.
What a good researcher you are.
Good researcher. Better than I am. It debuted in Broadway oh my gosh, I'm having a stroke. It debuted on Broadway in 1998, was nominated for 9 Tonys, it won Best Book and Best Original Score, and it won 6 Drama Desk Awards. And it just won Best Revival of a Musical at the 2023 Tonys. Last month.
It's a musical?
It's a musical.
Yeah, it's a musical.
Oh.
I didn't expect this to be a musical.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think people are going to come see this musical, Officer Lockstock. It's a little sad.
They'll come see that one, that's for sure. I think you'll have an easier time selling that than Urinetown.
Oh, you're in town.
Especially with it being popular right after, having won a Tony.
Yeah.
And a Tony
Oh,
just
for
now
sure, yeah.
And doing
Anyways,
that,
yeah, super cool.
Yeah, okay.
I am pumped.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize how deep that was either. Again, do your research, people, before you put out content on the internet.
It's gonna be heavy and
It's
powerful.
like us walking into Hedda Gabler earlier this season.
Being like,
and
it's gonna be
being like, it's an Ibsen
weird
play about
Ibsen
feminism.
revival
Got
show.
it.
Cool.
Got it.
Sounds great.
Cool.
Not prepared.
Wild.
Not prepared at all. That's okay, because you
Man.
can finish with Parade and then you can go watch Guys and Dolls.
Yeah.
Guys
True.
and dolls.
You can go from Considering Matthew Shepard to Finding Nemo Jr.
There we go.
They open on the same day.
They're complimenting each other, so you can
Aw.
go cry and be depressed and just have your mind blown, and
And then
you can
fish.
go, and then fish, and it's gonna be great. I'm
What
so
a
excited.
season.
Oh,
Oh, man. It's going to be a good season. It's going to be a good season. I lost my place in my notes. So,
5. You were on point
yeah,
5.
thank you. Actually, it's a V. It's a Roman numeral.
Marital discourse here.
I'm just a hot mess today, guys. I'm tell you right now. So what shows you guys most excited to see?
Honestly, I'm excited to see all of
I
them
was
now.
gonna
We're
say,
talking about it. And I'm
What particularly stands out?
I came in with a few that I was like, I'm really excited to see this one and this one and this one, and now I'm like, literally every single
I
one.
know. I want to see every
I
single
want
one.
to see every single one.
We have to get season tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at first, I was just really hype for In the Heights and Fiddler and Big Fish. I mean, I'm costuming Big Fish, so I'm gonna be involved in that one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I'm just really excited about hearing these stories from like
Yeah.
communities that I didn't grow up. I mean, I grew up overseas in wildly different circumstances than a lot of what these stories are talking about. And just to here we go.
Uh-oh. T.
I
Got
think
to be T.
that
You're
theater
out.
is the best storytelling medium.
Yeah.
Maybe like closely followed by like video games because that's interactive. But I think theater is like the best storytelling medium.
You're seeing literal human beings have
Portray
these
stories.
experiences. Yeah.
And
I would hope so, since you picked your career in it.
I know, yeah. And I'm so excited to see these stories played out on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
In it.
I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
I'm so excited. Come on.
Blackout.
Yeah, excited for Fiddler, excited for Big Fish. I think I'm most excited probably for Big Fish at the moment. That was one of my I did that for my senior recital and
Yep.
some of the, not the whole show, a song from Big Fish for my senior recital, and I have thoroughly loved that story. I was going to audition for it, but I didn't for reasons that I will talk about in a minute. But that's going to be real fun. Allie, what about you? What do you think
I
stands out to you?
am excited for, I think, obviously the big productions, Fiddler, In the Heights, those are going to be so good. I'm really looking forward to Finding Nemo. I know, but I really am. And my audition for Guys and Dolls.
I'm sorry. Can I butt in
okay,
for a second? I've only ever seen Finding Nemo at Disney World.
Yeah,
where
same.
it's puppets.
Yeah. I don't know how
Do you
they're gonna.
think they're gonna do it with the puppets?
Or are they gonna have
that
the kids dressed as?
I don't
know.
I don't know
know.
how it's usually done. That's the thing.
I don't know
Yeah, I
how
don't
it
know.
is either.
But I want it to be with puppets. I can't, because at Disney it's puppets and the characters in costume as well.
yeah.
So it's like they do some of the things with the puppets and then they put the puppet to the side and they
Yeah.
dance and sing. And I want to know how they're gonna do it.
I know. I'm
I'm so
really
excited.
curious.
Ask Hayden what's going on. She
Yeah.
probably knows.
She probably knows.
Hayden, if you're listening, tell us what's happening.
I am so excited for Considering Matthew Shepard just because of the like different elements that go into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like how all of that is going to come together to tell the story.
I've never seen like oratorio or
I haven't
opera or
either.
any of that stuff live.
Yeah.
Like that whole area of performance stuff, which I probably should, but
Treasure Island and Rock of Ages. I think those are going to be bops. I'm excited about that.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I'm
Logan's
just-
directing Rock of Ages, I think.
Yeah. Excited
Logan
about all of it.
Logan has told us that he thinks they might turn around Rock of Ages in 5 weeks.
That boy.
To put that in perspective, okay, SLTs, little theaters typically does a 9 or 10 week rehearsal process, a little over 2 months, which is about what you'll see at like university level and stuff as well too. Contemporary does a little bit shorter. We did Urinetown in 6 weeks, and that was a lot. So yeah, he says he's trying to turn around Rock of Ages in 5 weeks. Maybe they just all have ADHD. It's like,
honestly, same.
I don't get it. There's a point in the rehearsal process where you're like, all right, we just got to get in front of an audience.
I've heard them talking, like, you can like, the show comes together in that last week. Yeah. Okay? And it has to come together, and it's going to come together. Yeah. So do you want to spend those last 3 weeks doing the same mistakes over and over again, or do you want to go ahead and have it come together?
Dang. Yeah. Ooh. I mean,
that has literally been said to my face, and I'm like, that's valid. That's a valid reason.
Yeah. It's going to come together at the last minute. Anyways, so...
Yeah. Gonna get...
So turn it around in 1 week and just have it all happen right away.
1 week.
Join us next week on Thank You Places podcast, where
we'll be doing a full production
of Rock of Ages.
We're gonna put on Phantom of the Opera.
None of us know the show. We don't have it.
Okay, I need like a week and a half for Phantom just to build a chandelier.
I built a chandelier in 3 hours. What are you talking about? Okay, I will insert a picture of my chandelier. Yeah, right here in the video. So if you're listening on Spotify or whatever, you have to go to the YouTube video to see the chandelier picture.
Were you with us when we did that costume?
But I've seen pictures of it.
It was us and Malia and Carrie. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen pictures
Malia
of it.
was Madame Giry.
And then I had several people that entire night be like, can I do the one song and swing from you?
No.
And take a picture and go.
That's not what this is.
No.
Wrong chandelier.
No.
I want to bring down the chandelier. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun,
That's
dun.
the medley that I need.
Honestly, that kind of be a bop.
That
would be interesting.
Somebody has to have done that on the internet.
It'd be interesting for sure. Yeah. So, what do you? And this is honestly going to be a question mostly for Allison. What do you think you'll audition for or be involved with?
So I'm still contemplating Fiddler on the Roof. I just, with work so busy and everything, I just don't know if I can. Let's see. I really kind of am thinking Treasure Island. Ooh. I think that would be so much fun to audition for and be in, and that's in a really good time for me, like the beginning of December. I'm not doing anything. Yeah, and maybe Guys and Dolls at the end of SLT season. Yeah. I'm excited.
Cheryl Miller's directing Guys and Dolls, so it's gonna be really fun.
Yes.
Dance piece.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Yeah.
It's set.
Yeah. You were thinking about Rock of Ages too at one point, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. I have to look into it more.
Yeah.
I have no idea what Rock of Ages is, and all I can think of is that old 90s 2000s worship song.
Yeah.
Rock of Ages, clap for me. Yeah.
No, not that one. Oh gosh, is there another
one?
one?
That was a hymn.
I mean, there's a lot of
Okay, I know. Songs. I think it's like a Michael W. Smith song,
probably,
or
it's a popular
Amy Grant song.
Yeah.
I also know a Gaither Vocal Band one that they do.
Oh, wild!
That's Rock of Ages. I mean,
but yeah, I hear it and I do not think of theater. I think of Amy Grant, Michael W. Smith era music.
I'm not particularly sure on what it's about either, but I have a feeling it's going to be very different from that. I'm just hoping that there is leather. It sounds like something that there should be leather in. Again, I'm a bad theater major. I don't know what any of these shows are. You're costuming Big Fish. You know that.
Yeah.
And depending on how life goes, I'm sure they'll invite you back to. Noel's getting pretty steady with contemporary theater.
I've really enjoyed working with them. It's very, very nice. They treat me very well there.
Yeah.
Not that I've been mistreated elsewhere. It's just I really like working with them.
Yeah. Is there anything on this list that you think is going to be a challenge to put on stage, or you're like, how the heck are they going to do this?
I want to see how they're going to do Nemo.
Yeah, we mentioned Nemo. Yeah.
I want to see how they're going to do Nemo.
Yeah. again, I'm not super familiar with all of these shows, so I don't know what the struggles are going to be.
I wonder if they're going to have a struggle with the play that goes wrong with the set. Because they took it apart and they sold it.
Yeah. Granted, they bought it from somebody else originally,
That's
too.
true.
So
That's
they
true.
might just buy it back from where they...
back.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Who
think
knows?
there's a lot of passing around of a lot of those type of sets.
Sure. It's just a very specific
Yeah.
set. You have to have that specific thing. And it has to work, or else somebody's going to get very badly hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really badly hurt.
It has to be set out about the same way too. I just noticed, I saw a picture of the set on Broadway.
Yeah, and it's
like about the exact same thing, like different style,
Yeah.
basically,
Yep.
but it's all very set out. I got the script for the play that goes wrong, 3rd edition. That was also something we were talking about with Judy, and she was like, I gotta get the script and see how it goes, and I got the 3rd edition that they did, and it is very
I will be
detailed.
that person to say I'm excited to see how they're going to cast In the Heights.
I am too.
Because it's not just the singing and the ethnicities that they have to think about. It's also the dancing that they have to think about. And, like, you can teach dance the same way you can teach a lot of things, but it's going to be really interesting to see if they find somebody pulling them out of the woodwork that is, like, perfect for the roles.
Yeah.
That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little theaters never really had any trouble pulling out dancers, though.
No.
That's true.
No,
that's true.
And I think
I'm sure there's a lot of people
based on the Mosaic stuff that I've
building
seen,
up in the education program as well that they can pull from.
Yeah, that's usually not a problem. They can make dancers out of just about anything. Just ask me.
Mr. Tippy Taps.
Tippy taps. I know. From never tapping to like 2 tap shows and a tap solo. Whew. Yeah. I am always interested in how any production of Mary Poppins is going to go.
Yeah.
Because I've seen 2 adult versions of Mary Poppins done in community theater stages in Texas, and they didn't fly Mary Poppins, which you don't have to. You don't. That's one that you can get away without flying it.
Didn't they end up flying the car for Chitty?
I think they did.
I think that was the whole
so.
like advertisement bit that they were going to fly the car.
Yeah.
So surely they can
Chitty
fly.
was the only show that I didn't get the chance to see this season, but I think they
surely they can fly a female character if they're not.
Or they're going to fly a child. That's the thing. Will Mary Poppins be a child? Like, sometimes they cast adults in the junior stuff.
Yeah,
that's true.
Fill space. I feel like the main role has to be a child if it's going to be a junior show. And I say child again. Junior is like the school version, so it's like
18 and under,
up to like high school even. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. A couple other things that are coming out again. We're not going to go into detail into these other seasons, but MSU and Drury, at least online, have not released their seasons yet. Evangel has, and they are doing in the fall. They are doing The Matchmaker, November 2nd through 4th, which is Thornton Wilder play, and it is the straight play.
Matchmaker, make me
I know,
a match.
Which is funny because they're doing
Fiddler.
Fiddler in the spring. Matchmaker is not related to Fiddler in any way. It's actually the straight play basis for Hello Dolly.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
I know that Doc has been trying to do Fiddler for
since my junior
ages
year.
now. Yeah, she like promised me Fiddler when I was a
3
freshman.
years.
But it's going to be interesting to see Little Theater open their season with Fiddler in the fall, and then have Evangel do a college production of Fiddler in the spring.
Yeah.
That's going to be really interesting to see how that's going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At least they're far enough apart.
Yeah.
At least it's not the same semester.
Yeah. I don't think they would have been able to get the rights if it was the same.
True. That's true.
Yeah. But Springfield has had a lot of Fiddler
lately
because
Fiddler.
last year Evangel couldn't get the rights because the
K,
Fiddler tour came to Springfield.
Yep. Crazy.
So yeah, it's been a lot of fiddlers and a lot of roofs here in Springfield.
When I was in Fiddler on the Roof, our fiddler did not have a violin. He had a ukulele.
because that makes sense.
It was a middle school production, so.
Ukulele on the Roof.
I
He
mean,
still had a bow.
Was
he still
there
bowed
a
it.
band program at the school?
It was a marching band. Because, I mean, it's a middle school,
Did
so
they not have a concert band or anything?
No, it's Milan, Tennessee. It's like 6,000 people.
No, I
They
just
have
feel like there
one
were,
middle school.
I feel like there are ways to at least get like a viola or something that
Maybe
looks
they had
more like
one-
a fiddle.
Maybe
than
they
a...
had one for performances, but I specifically remember that boy had a ukulele at one point.
It's crazy.
Maybe that was just for rehearsals. I don't remember. But he did sit there and bow a ukulele a few times.
That hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts my music major heart. Then again,
As someone who plays the ukulele and the violin, yeah, same.
that hurts my music major soul. Then again, I might have butchered the definition of oratorio, so let me not hold on to that music major thing right now. Yeah, I'm also interested if, because Dr. Wisdom, that is going to be her final show at Evangel. She's planning to retire afterwards. And she has mentioned doing like alumni show for her last one, like bringing back the alumni to fill stuff as well. And so I'm curious if she's going to do that or not.
I'd take part in a Fiddler on the Roof alumni show.
Yeah.
I'd do that. That'd be a good time.
That would be a good time.
Who knows? I guess we will find out. So.
Oh no! After being in professional theater, well, professional-ish community theater, going back to a college production.
Sounds rough.
I feel like I would have a rough time.
Going
just the timeline
going
of
back,
the rehearsal process.
Going back to
like,
a semester-long long 5 nights a week rehearsal process after turning around Urinetown in 6 weeks.
There's no point
sounds
in that.
awful.
Yeah, that sounds like a hot mess.
That sounds awful. I don't know how we ever did it. And being full-time students,
we didn't know any better.
we somehow got it done.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And then professionally, moving on to professional, the Broadway season at Juanita K. Hammond's Hall is out. They are opening. They've moved Come From Away. It's not in August anymore.
Oh.
They are opening with Jesus Christ Superstar in November. Mean Girls is coming in February. Shrek the Musical in March. And then Come From Away was in August when they first announced it, but they have it in April now. And then Pretty Woman the Musical, one woman, not multiples, is in April.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for
It's a good
Shrek.
season.
Yep.
I've never seen Shrek live.
Mean Girls is
The
good.
music is fabulous.
Yeah.
And Come From Away,
Yeah.
We've seen Come From Away.
So
but I will
good.
gladly see it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Looking forward to seeing all of that, and gosh, a lot of theater,
So Nathaniel,
a lot of entertainment.
how about you tell us what's happening next in the world of our lives? Yep. I
was getting there.
I don't know. I was trying to make it flow a little easier, so it was like you weren't talking the entire time, but it's okay.
You can tell me to shut up. It's
Oh
okay.
no!
Oh, don't spill the tea.
Panic.
I mean, spill the tea, but not
Yeah,
literally.
give me all the
no!
Not literally. Okay.
Reel it back in.
We
Sorry.
Again, it's the finale. We've just let go, man.
Yeah.
It's Saturday.
I'm so
It's
long
sorry.
weekend.
Yeah, it's 4th
Me
of July,
and
long
Allison-
weekend, so we are gone.
Me and Allison drove last night, 5 hours round trip to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma to see Who's Hamlet that Jodie Ann Lloyd told us about when she was on the podcast way back in the spring.
Way back when.
Where the audience decides between 4 actors who's going to play the 4 lead roles of Hamlet. It was fabulous.
It was.
Great time.
Yeah.
We did drive to Tulsa, Oklahoma there and back last night. We got back about 2 a.m. So
We did run out of gas.
Yeah, I had to go.
Yeah.
I had to go rescue
So-
them at 1 a.m. because they ran out of gas like 20 minutes away.
it's okay. We survived.
It was good.
we
It was
did.
good. Anywho, we are going on the podcast is going on break after this comes out until August 28th. That's when we're planning to start season 2. Same thing, bi-weekly. Gonna chat about all kinds of things. We're playing with some different directions. Then we're gonna kind of dive into some more local theater news, analyze some literature and stuff, and see how things are
Having some interviews, of
meetings
course.
of things,
We like bringing
interviews
people
and stuff.
on.
So we've got a couple of things lined up and planning, and it's going to be very exciting. Videos might come out about the same time as well, but we'll have some shorts and some TikToks and stuff coming out later. So again, just keep an eye on our social medias. Thank You Places on Facebook. I think it's at Thank You Places Troop.
Yep.
On Facebook and Instagram. And then we're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. Is the handle the same on TikTok?
It's Thank You Places Troop.
Is it not like...
It's just Thank You Places.
Just Thank You Places. So
Yep.
just Thank You Places on TikTok. That's
it.
Allison's thing. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know either.
The two of us are old people, and we don't even have a TikTok.
So yeah, that stuff will be coming out. Keep an eye out and on social media and all, and we will be back for that. Also, we might have some talks about professional theater, because I am starting the day this releases. I am starting working at Dolly Parton's Stampede in Branson. I'm gonna be a cowboy.
Woohoo!
He gets to learn how to ride a horse.
And yeah, you gotta say something in a southern accent now.
Well, I don't know. Wait.
My mama's from Tennessee, so the accent's real for me.
Yeah.
I just suppress it real hard because I don't want to look like a fool.
No,
it's okay.
I
I'm
love
telling
a
you that
good
it's
southern
cute.
accent. I don't know if I can do one very well, but
Yeah.
Why are you carrying that whip? You see any horse? Sorry, that was from The Color Purple. But every time I hear
different
horse,
completely different vibe.
Spicy.
Completely different story there.
We're off the rails. We need to wrap this up.
Work for Dolly Parton. I know. If you've listened to the end of this, thank you. You're the real deal. So I'm going to work in Branson. All right, I'm gonna get us out of here. I think we need some lunch.
Yeah, we need lunch and a nap.
Thank you again, everyone who has joined us for this adventure through this first season. And again, stay tuned, and we look forward to bringing you new stuff shortly. So have a great summer. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Thank You Places podcast.
If you liked what you heard, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast and share it with your friends.
For more information and to stay up to date, check out Thank You Places on Facebook and follow us on Instagram at Thank You Places Troop. That's TROUPE.
Have an idea or a topic you'd like to hear us cover in Season 2? Email us at thankyouplacestroop@gmail.com. Once again, thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon.